Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare I can use my phone. Okay, fine. Yeah. Jai Vishnupat Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Ashtotara Shatar Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Grantraj Caitanya Caritamrita Ki Jai. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna. Shri Gaur Purnima Mahotsav Ki Jai. So, today we'll read from Caitanya Caritamrita Adi-Lila, text 9. We'll chant text 1, then we'll read some other verses. Tam Srimat Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vande Jagadgurum Yasya Anukampaya Shvapi Mahaabdim Santaret Sukham Tam Srimat Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vande Jagadgurum Yasyanukampaya Shvapi Mahavdim Santaret Sukham Tam Srimat Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vande Jagadgurum Yasyanukampaya Shvapi Mahavdim Santaret Sukham Tam Srimat Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vande Jagadguru Mahavdim Shvapi Srimad Krishna Chaitanya Vande Jagadguru Yasyanukampaya Shvapi Hadim Santarik Sukham Tam Srimad Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vande Jagadgurum Yasyanukampaya Shvapi Hadim Santarit Sukham Tam Srimad Krishna Chaitanya Jande Jagadgurum Yasyanukampaya Shvapi Mahadim Santarit Sukham Tam Srimad Krishna Chaitanya. Tamil translation from 105. No. I know. Okay. So around. Mataji. Srimad Krishna Chaitanya Ram Vande Jagadguru Yasyanukampaya Shvapi Mahadim Santarit Sukham Tam unto him Srimad with all opulence Krishna Chaitanya Devam unto Lord Krishna Chaitanya Deva Vande I offer obeisances Jagat Gurum spiritual master of the world Yasya whose Anukampaya by the mercy of Shvapi even a dog Mahadim great ocean Santaret can swim Sukham without difficulty. Translation. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual master of the entire world, Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even a dog can swim across a great ocean. Purport. Sometimes it's to be seen that a dog can swim in the water for a few yards, then come back to the shore. Here, however, it is stated that if a dog is blessed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he can swim across an ocean. Similarly, the author of Sri Caitanya Caritamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, placing himself in a helpless condition, states that he has no personal power, but by the desire of Lord Chaitanya expressed through the Vaishnavas and the Madan Mohan Vigraha, it's possible for him to cross a transcendental ocean to present Sri Caitanya Caritamrita. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Tam Srimad Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vande Jagat Gurum Yasyanukampaya Shvapi Mahadim Santarit Sukham. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual master of the entire world, Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even a dog can swim across a great ocean. So this is chapter 9 of Adi-Lila, titled Desire Tree of Devotional Service. In the summary of this chapter, it's written, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that this is a figurative example of the tree of devotional service. Figurative means there is no actual tree, but to explain the concept of the Sankirtan movement, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement, how it started, how it spread, how it's maintained. So this example is given. Actually, in Srimad Bhagavatam, similar examples are given. And fifth canto, what was that? Forest of Material Enjoyment, that's one. Like that, many examples are given to understand the concept. So, of course, to understand Sankirtan movement is not easy. We're in the Sankirtan movement, and what a great mercy we got, benediction. That's not easy to know. As we go on in the movement, maybe as we advance, we'll understand what a great benediction we got to be in this movement. Actually, what is our situation? To be born in Kali Yuga, in this particular age. To be born now means our past sinful reactions are so many. How can we even begin the process of devotion? How can we take shelter of Krishna? But because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, it's possible. So, it's not possible to fully understand this mission. But an example is given in this chapter. In this opening verse, we see in the purport how the author is giving an example of mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says that just like a dog, if you've seen a dog, it cannot cross an ocean. It will swim. Prabhupada said it swims, then comes back to the shore. It cannot really swim much. But by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the dog can cross an ocean. This is an analogy given for us who have to cross the ocean of material suffering. Bhavabdim, samsara, the ocean of birth and death. How will we cross it? Only by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the opening verse. In this text 9 of this verse, of this chapter, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Mahaprabhu, he brought the tree to this earth. He became the gardener. So a gardener takes care of a tree, takes care of the plants. He became the gardener. He sowed the seed and sprinkled upon it the seed of his will. So Prabhupada says, in many places devotional service is compared to a creeper. One has to sow the seed of a devotional creeper, Bhakti Lata. We heard this analogy many times, Caitanya Caritamrita. Even from Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada introduces this concept, Bhakti Lata. So as one regularly hears and chants, the seed fructifies, gradually grows into a mature plant, then produces the fruit, which is devotional service, love of God. So a plant, it says that he sprinkled upon it the will of his desire. So a plant, what do? We put water, and then water makes it grow. By water it will stay alive and grow and give the fruit. So what will make this plant of devotional service grow? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's will. So it is the will of Mahaprabhu that this movement came and be spread. And so, just as if you water a plant, it will grow. So Mahaprabhu's will, this mission will spread. This is, it's said here, because it is his will that it should spread all over the creation. Then in text 10, we are introduced to the seed of this tree of devotional service, which is now spreading all over the world. All glories to Sri Madhavendra Puri, the storehouse of all devotional service, unto Krishna. He is the desire tree of devotional service, and it's in him that the seed of devotional service first fructified. Madhavendra Puri, Prabhupada explains, he's coming in the Madhva line, and from him the mood changed to the Gaudiya mood of conjugal love of God, that mood. So he was in the Madhva Sampradaya, and his disciple was Ishwar Puri, and Ishwar Puri's disciple was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Prabhupada explains that the process of worship of the Madhva Sampradaya was full of ritualistic ceremonies with hardly a sign of love of God. But Madhavendra Puri was the first in the disciplic succession to exhibit symptoms of love of God. Then Prabhupada tells us what is the seed. He said it's a seed. He wrote it, is it? That exhibit, and first he wrote a poem. So this is the beginning. Ai dina dayadranathe mathuranat kada valokyase hridayam tvad aloka kataram daita bhramyati kim karomi aham. So he tells us this is a verse spoken by Radharani. When Krishna left for Mathura, she was feeling separation. So throughout Caitanya Caritamrita, this verse is explained again and again. In Rath-yatra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chant this verse in mood of Radharani, that Krishna was leaving Mathura, leaving Vrindavan for Mathura. So she was feeling separation. So she chanted this verse, and it is one of the pillars of Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. Requires a lot of explanation, understanding. But this is the seed of this tree of devotional service. And it grew in the heart of Madhavendra Puri. So that is the beginning of this Sankirtan movement, you can say, that Madhavendra Puri, he started it. So it goes on in the next verse. The seed of devotional service next fructified in the form of Sri Ishwar Puri, Madhavendra Puri's disciple. Then the gardener himself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, became the main trunk of devotional service. It's mentioned. So Mahaprabhu is the gardener. This is text. So Mahaprabhu, it says, he became the gardener. Gardener takes care of the plant. So Mahaprabhu is actually taking care of this Sankirtan movement, fully manifest. And it says that Mahaprabhu became the main trunk. He's the gardener. He's also the tree, the trunk. This Sankirtan movement is Mahaprabhu himself. And the next verse is saying, not only he is the trunk, but by his inconceivable power, the Lord became gardener, trunk, and the branches. This whole movement is Mahaprabhu. How it is being spread is Mahaprabhu's mercy. Who is spreading it? Mahaprabhu. But we are the instruments. We can become the instruments. But by his mercy it's spreading. By his mercy it appeared, and it's being maintained and going on. So as it's Krishna himself, Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada said this movement cannot be stopped. Mahaprabhu says in the first verse of Shikshashtaka, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. This movement cannot be defeated. It's the will of Mahaprabhu. So, cannot be defeated. Even we see in many of the acharyas in this movement, they have pranamantas like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Gora Shakti Swarupaya. No, that is not it. Gora Vani Shrimurte Dinatarine Rupanuga Virodapasiddhanta Bantaharine. So, Gora Vani Shrimurte, he is the form of the instructions of Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu, he's taken the form of the instructions of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu gave instructions how this movement should be spread, that it should be spread. And in what way, what is the philosophy. So he took that form. And others also like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Namo Bhaktinodaya Sachidananda Namine, Gora Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate. He is the Gora Shakti Swarup. Is actually the strength, the Mahaprabhu's Shakti came in this form, Gora Shakti Swarupaya. So it's actually Mahaprabhu spreading this movement through different preachers and empowered personalities. So anyone can take part and be in this movement, but they have to be following in his line, following his instructions. Then they become empowered by him. But actually Mahaprabhu is spreading it. It's mentioned here in the chapter. So a lot is mentioned in the purports in the verses. Some key verses I'm reading, 17 and 18. From the trunk grew many branches, and above them innumerable others. So the trunk branches are there. Actually this was drawn by one ISKCON devotee, that there's a trunk, then 5 branches showing the Panchatattva. A tree which has 5 branches. On top of those branches, more branches and more branches. This is basically explaining how the movement spread through followers and disciples and associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they had followers, their followers had followers, and it goes on like this, spreading like that. So just like a tree grows and becomes more and more fine with branches, so like this movement grew and is growing with followers having followers, and it's growing like that. and above them innumerable others. So, and 18 also we look at. Thus the branches of the Chaitanya tree formed a cluster or society with great branches covering all over the universe. So, for example, if you have some company, business company, or political party, or any NGO or something, so they open branches all over. So similarly, this movement spread branches, and there'll be one branch, and under that branch, main office, there'll be other branches. So like that, many branches, it expanded. And then it says here, it became like a cluster. A cluster is like in a tree, if you have so many branches at once, that's a cluster of leaves and branches. So because this tree spread, so many branches are there, it became like a community, a society. It formed a cluster or society with great branches covering all over the universe, it says. So Prabhupada writes that actually this ISKCON is also one of the branches of the Chaitanya tree. It's going on, and ISKCON is also expanding, establishing branches. So this is also on the tree of desire tree of devotional service. And one thing it says here is that it's covering all over the universe. So someone may ask, how is that? It's still not fully spread in India and in the world. Here it's written universe. But there's one purport in Srila Prabhupada's commentaries on Caitanya Caritamrita. Similar thing is written, that the kirtan was heard and it spread all over the universe. So in the purport, Prabhupada writes, actually it says this because it will spread all over the universe. The kirtan of Mahaprabhu, it will spread all over the universe. So it says here the branches covering all over the universe, because that's what will happen. It's written in many places. Actually, you see, Brahmanda means universe, not world. So in that way it will cover. And yeah, Prabhupada says it is predicted that it will spread all over the universe. Yeah, in that purport, not here. So it goes on to describe branches and sub-branches. Who are the main associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? His associates, their disciples, their followers. It goes on and on like that. And then it says that this tree gives fruits. All trees give fruits, not all, but a good tree gives fruits. And in the purport it's written that, like a fig tree, the fruits grow on the bark, on the tree, not on the branches. So these fruits, they're growing on the branches and on the, here, like as the fig tree bears fruit all over the body, each part of the tree of devotional service bore fruit. So the fruit spread all over. Fruit is love of God when one begins devotional service. So love of God. And with that comes everything else what people are searching for. Happiness, peace, detachment, knowledge. Those are side benefits. But what comes? Love of God, the highest commodity. And we don't know that, but that is the highest commodity. So this movement, we say the highest movement is giving love of God. So people join the movement, they don't know what is love of God. Okay, but we'll join the movement because the kirtan is good, or this is good, or that is good. But as we advance, we begin to understand, what we got. As we go on and on, actually we will not fully realize. If we did, we'll be spreading it, we'll be fully applying ourselves in this movement. So when this tree bore fruit, Prabhupada writes in the purport, this tree of devotional service is not of this material world. Just as we say this movement is not of this material world. It's written, one of the bhajans of Narottam Das Thakur, Golokera Premadhana, Hari Nam Sankirtana. We are chanting this Hare Krishna mantra, and this Hare Krishna movement, Golokera Premadhana. It is the treasure of love of God from Goloka, come into this world. So Prabhupada writes, it's not of this world. It grows in the spiritual world where there is no distinction between one part of the body and another. So Mahaprabhu, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, since Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the original trunk, the taste of the fruits that grew on the branches and sub-branches surpassed the taste of nectar. That Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, he began this movement. So we cannot imagine what benefit will come if we follow his instructions. Chant to chant and follow all the regulative principles, ultimately to attain the highest love of God. We cannot imagine. Highest gift in the whole creation that can be attained. It says here, surpass the taste of nectar. So then Mahaprabhu, whatever fruits came from this, he didn't give a distinction. He didn't make a distinction that who should get the fruit, who paid for the fruit. He just gave it to everyone. He gave the fruit to everyone without seeing who's qualified, who was not qualified. Here he says, as the gardener, that I am the only gardener. How many places can I go? How many fruits can I pick and distribute? So if there's a big garden and one person is taking care of it, that's very difficult. He says, I'm the only gardener. So how many places can I go? How will I take care of the whole garden? And how will I spread all the fruits alone? How many fruits can I pick and distribute? He'll pick the fruits of this movement and spread it. Actually, Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. He could have done it. But he came in the mood of a devotee. So as a devotee of Krishna, he's deriving the benefit and then trying to spread it. So he said, how can I do? One person, how can I do it? Prabhupada writes here that he indicates the distribution of the Hare Krishna mantra should be performed by combined forces. Although he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he laments, how can I act alone? How can I alone pick the fruits and distribute it all over the world? So he's indicating that all classes of devotees should combine to distribute it. So he says it would be very laborious for me to pick the fruits, then distribute them alone. And because some will get them, some will not. Otherwise, if you're very quickly, you have to distribute something. Did you get, you didn't get, some will get, some will not get it. It's not in an organized way. So some won't get it. So he says, therefore, I order every man within this universe to accept this Krishna consciousness movement and distribute it everywhere. So Mahaprabhu is giving a call for preaching. We are familiar with the saying, Bharat Bhumi Haile Manushya Janma Yara, Janma Sarte Kare Kare Para Upakara. That's repeated many times. But so people not born in India maybe became relaxed. It's not for us. But here he's saying, no, everyone in the universe, not only this planet, whole universe, everyone should accept it and distribute it. And if Supreme Personality of Godhead is saying something, we should listen. So accept the movement, not only accept, second part, distribute it. Maybe we already accepted it. Second part, we have to distribute it. So this is a call for preaching this movement. The tree, the branches of the tree should spread all over this planet and all over the universe. At least all over your village or street, whatever you can manage. But this is Mahaprabhu's order. Everyone should take it. So it says here, no one is exempt. We should take the movement and spread it. In the purport, Prabhupada writes, this Sankirtan movement has been introduced by Lord Chaitanya just to dispel the illusion of Maya by which everyone in this material world thinks himself to be a product of matter and therefore to have many duties pertaining to the body. Especially in Kali Yuga, influence of Rajagun and Tamogun is very strong. So that Dehatma Buddhi, that consciousness of that I am the body, I am from this country, this state, is very strong. And one symptom of that is so much fighting for land, or mostly for land. People are fighting this land, my country, your country. Strong identification with the body. In one purport, Prabhupada writes in Srimad Bhagavatam that as he was writing the purport, a war had broken out between India and China. So he said that we are writing this purport, and war has broken out with our neighbor. He said that these two countries have been living together for centuries, or maybe millenniums, I don't know what he said. But he said there's been no problem, but now they're finding a problem. So in Kali Yuga, the influence of Rajagun and Tamagun is so strong that this quarrel, that people are getting identified with the body, this is a symptom of Kali Yuga. Strong identification of body, it comes out in war, argument, and therefore we have Kali Yuga. So, especially in this age, it's very difficult. How are we going to preach to people? In many places of the world, we cannot start speaking. People argue. Here in India, we can speak philosophy. But out of India, in many places, people simply do a lot of kirtan and distribute prasad. And then we give some books. And because if we talk, people get angry and argue, it's difficult. So a lot of Harinam, a lot of prasad distribution, and then gradually people get some sukriti. Then we preach. So this shows that this movement is very well suited for this age. Because simply if someone is spreading some philosophy about God, but people are envious of God, they won't hear it very readily. But we do kirtan and we distribute prasad. So people take that, and then through this, the people get the sukriti and the purification to understand about God. So this movement is very well suited. So this, as it says here, Prabhupada says in the purport that actually this movement has been spread to dispel this illusion of Maya, by which everyone thinks that they are a product of matter. So if we look at this, we remember this pranamant of Gaur Nitai. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Godode Pushpavantro Chitro Shando Tamonado. I offer my obeisances to Chaitanya Nityananda, who are like the sun and the moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to distribute benediction to all and dispel the darkness of ignorance. Tamonudo, to dispel ignorance. So Mahaprabhu's mission arose in Gauda, but as the sun arose in one place, but ultimately covered the whole creation with the light. So this movement, it's predicted it will spread all over the creation. It will spread the light, benediction, all over the creation. And many of the acharyas predicted, like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said that in future this will be the only system of dharma. He used religion, he said that word. Practically we see that because Kali Yuga's influence is to smash everything. Smash culture, family, even religion. Everything will be finished because Kali's that effect is like that. We are seeing many religions which are stalwart, spreading and moving, now within they're collapsing. But only one thing will not collapse, or any entity, if we don't point this or that society. We'll just say anybody who chants Hare Krishna. Iti Shodashakam Nanam Kali Kalmasha Nashanam. Effect of Kali will not be where this mantra is chanted. Effect cannot be there. So whoever takes this mantra will be saved. And if we don't, then Kali will become a victim. It can be very cruel. Material nature can be very cruel in reaction. So to spread this movement, this Sankirtan movement, the tree will spread. Mahaprabhu said that. But we can be the instrument. We can be the instrument to spread it. Mahaprabhu himself, the Shakti, actually we have no qualification. We have no qualification. If we analyze, that Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Jogyata Vichare Kichu Nahi Paye. Tumara Karuna Sar. Of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is fully qualified. But that is the mood he's putting that we should inculcate, because actually we have no qualification. But Mahaprabhu's mercy comes through us, then what can we achieve? Great tasks, great things can be done. In one purport of Caitanya Caritamrita, it's explained how that Mahaprabhu spread this movement, but Lord Nityananda, he spread it much more. He preached. So Prabhupada writes that Mahaprabhu spread this movement, but he ordered Nityananda to spread it. Then Lord Nityananda, he spread it much more. And then Prabhupada writes, similarly, any follower of Lord Nityananda can spread it even more than Nityananda. They can do more by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu gave mercy to Nityananda. He ordered him, Shuno Shuno Haridas, Suno Nityananda, Shuno Haridas, Prate Gare Gare Giya, Koro E Prakash, Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shikha. He said, listen Nityananda, listen Haridas. Go house to house, Prati Gare Gare Giya, Koro E Prakash, and enlighten them. Tell them, Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Shikha. You speak about Krishna, worship Krishna, and tell others about Krishna. So that was Mahaprabhu's order. Even Nityananda did so much, but Mahaprabhu's order, Mahaprabhu acted through him. And anyone taking shelter of Lord Nityananda, he is Sri Guru's expansion of Lord Nityananda. Guru Gauranga, Chaitanya Nitai. So, Guru, take shelter of Sri Guru, manifestation of Lord Nityananda. By his mercy and empowerment, Prabhupada says, we can do more than Nityananda and Chaitanya. It looks like that materially. But actually that mercy is flowing. So as parampara goes on, anyone who takes shelter, they can do amazing things. So we saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread it in one place. Then he sent Nityananda to Bengal to preach. He said, you don't stay in Puri, who will preach in Bengal? So he went back to Bengal and he preached, and so many songs were written. How amazingly he preached. Mercy of Lord Nityananda, by his mercy, so much preaching happened. So, and then after that, parampara went on, people preached. After that, big preaching happened by Srinivasa Acharya, Shyamananda Pandit, Narottam Das Thakur. So Shyamananda Pandit preached through Rasikhananda in Odisha. And like this, the movement went on. And then Srila Prabhupada, he did more. He went all over the world. It looks like he did more, but he kept saying, my Guru's mercy, his Guru, Mahaprabhu's mercy. He preached the whole world, the whole planet. He opened 108 centers. And in 11 years, no one knew, people who didn't know what is Hare Krishna, now it was filled in movies and books and conversation everywhere. And one of Prabhupada's famous quotes, he entered, he was speaking and he spoke, and at the end, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, he was smiling. Then he said, if only you knew what I'm speaking, really, you will take this world in 2 weeks. If you could understand this movement properly. In 2 weeks, I think, was it 2 weeks or what he said? In 2 weeks, we can just conquer the whole planet. So, yeah, that understanding, how it's Krishna, we cannot fully understand, but we are endeavoring, we are trying to understand, we are applying ourselves in the movement, and then Mahaprabhu will reveal. And when it reveals, we will not understand how this happened. People don't understand. How is it? They asked Prabhupada, what's the miracle you did? I made them into Vaishnavas, people from the Western world. That was miracle, considered a miracle. So Mahaprabhu had ordered here that not only him, not only Bharat Bhumi, but everyone in the universe should preach. Take this movement and preach it. Actually, Mahaprabhu himself, he spoke this verse, Aradhya Bhagwan Rajesha Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachid Upasana Vraja Vaduvargena Vakalpita. The topmost devotees. He said the topmost devotees are the gopis. So that is what he was preaching, the mood of a Gaudiya Vaishnava, we are aspiring Gaudiya Vaishnavas, is that we worship Krishna in separation in the mood of the gopis. When he was not present, he said this is the highest. So, that is the highest worship. But what do the gopis say? In one verse, in Song of the Gopis, 10th canto, chapter 14. Tava Caithamritam Kavibiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangala Shrimadatattam Bhuvigranantiye Bhurida Jana. They're saying, Bhuvigranantiye Bhurida Jana. Those who preach your message are most fortunate. They are the topmost devotees. But they're saying, no, who is the most fortunate? Bhuvigranantiye Bhurida. Because before in that verse, what is explained? Tava Caithamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavi Biriditam Kalma Shapaham. Narrations of Krishna, Tava Caithamritam Tapta Jivanam. It is the life and soul of the living entities. Tapta Jivanam. It's not saying devotees. Of course, for devotees it is. But even for non-devotees, they don't know it. But this is the life and soul of their. And practically without bhakti, we're in a dead condition. Dead condition. As Prabhupada says, so many zeros, but no one in front. Great materialistic civilizations on this planet achieve so much materially. Prabhupada said, so many zeros, but no one in front. There's no one. So it's still zero. And if there are many zeros, you add that one and it becomes so great. So they don't understand. But actually the life and soul of the jiva of us is when we hear katha, Krishna katha. Tava Caithamritam Tapta Jivanam. This is life and soul. And so when we hear it, we become enlivened. We see people, many times we are preaching, they come in, they start joining our sangha. And within few weeks, 1 month, you can see face is different. Mood is different. We can see practical. People come in, how they change. So this is life and soul of everyone, not devotees only. Tava Caithamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavi Biriditam Kalma Shapaham. Intelligent people, kavis, they speak this knowledge. Kavi Biriditam, they speak. Learned person is not learned materially, but one who understands about Krishna. So such people, they speak this knowledge, Kavi Biriditam Kalma Shapaham, which destroys kalmash, the contamination of material contamination, sinful desires, sinful reactions are destroyed by this Krishna Katha. Kalma Shapahan. Shravana Mangalam. Srimad. These narrations are filled with spiritual potency, Srimad, and creates an auspicious environment when it's broadcast. Prabhupada uses the word broadcast for this. It's broadcast all over the world, and really now it's being broadcast through the media and internet. Now it's internet and then we have our TV, Hare Krishna TV, it's being broadcast. So this will create an auspicious environment. Atatam. Shravana Mangala Srimad Atatam. This is the power of Krishna Katha. So Mahaprabhu is saying the topmost devotees, the gopis. But gopis are saying, Burida Jana, those who are propagating your glories, they are most fortunate. They are much more fortunate. So propagating this knowledge, in ISKCON, all our books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Caitanya Caritamrita, starting with Gita, they speak about preaching from beginning. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Caitanya Caritamrita. Actually, we say our main book of Gaudiyas is Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Puranam Amalam, Prema Pumartha Mahan. Bhagavad Gita is actually Bhagavatam. Caitanya Caritamrita is actually Bhagavatam also. Bhagavatam means in relation to Bhagavan. So it starts Bhagavad Gita. Beginning is elementary, beginning knowledge. Then it's expanded in Srimad Bhagavatam. Caitanya Caritamrita also. That's Bhagavatam. How a Mahabhagat lives, how he should live. Mahaprabhu is showing us. So those actually, they're all Bhagavatam. So these are our main texts, the Bhagavatam. So Mahaprabhu came to show us how to read Srimad Bhagavatam, meditate on it, and live. Live the Bhagavatam. We see how he preached. He went all over India. He went from south. We are preaching in one city, He just walked all over from Bengal to South India. Then he came to the west, like that, till Vrindavan. So he showed us. He took sannyas and preached, went all over. He met all different groups of people and through Srimad Bhagavatam philosophy explained them. This is superior. We see in Caitanya Caritamrita, Buddhists, Muslims, and other sampradayas, we don't really preach to them. We don't attack and preach, but we can debate and explain when they present that now sampradaya, why is it like this? Why you follow that? We can debate with them. So Mahaprabhu spoke with everyone, practically. And we see all the great preachers did the same. See, like Risakananda, he would go to the village, each village. First he will speak with the village chief, then gather the brahmanas and debate with them and establish Bhagavad Dharma, philosophy, then give them Diksha. The system was, if you were philosophically defeated, you had to take Diksha. So they take Diksha, and then he does Kirtan, distributes Prasad, and tells them, do as I am doing, and that way the movement spreads, following in the footsteps of Mahaprabhu. So principally he preached from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and showed us. The greatest gift Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave is this love of God, Shriyam Anarpita Charim Chirat Karuna Avatirno Samarpaitum Unatajjala Rasa Swabhakti Shriyam. What no incarnation gave before, he came to give that confidential part of bhakti. Otherwise, bhakti as a concept, it's there in many of the Vedas. But the highest part, it's not generally spoken and distributed widely like this. It's confidential. Because people will misuse and people are not qualified also. But mercy means giving the highest thing to the lowest people who don't deserve, who don't know what it is. They don't even know. But it came, and how is he giving? Practically, Mahaprabhu and followers are running after the people. Take it. No, I don't want it. Take it. He's giving it. And he's not giving, we're not saying this is love of God. We're giving the Hare Krishna mantra. But Golokera Premadana, Harinam Sankirtana, it came in that highest teaching came in this mantra. So the greatest gift Mahaprabhu gave, he gave it, but Lord Nityananda gave it much more. You see, in many songs, he broke the storehouse of love of God and distributed the contents. Normally, if someone has a shop, you come to the shop, how much, this much, you pay the money, I give you the product. I don't have money, I can't give you anything. You have to pay the money. Then I'll give you. But then Mahaprabhu broke the store open. Okay, take it. Who wants? Let's take it. You have money, doesn't matter. You have less money, no qualification it was required. He just spread it all over the movement, all over the world. So the greatest gift Mahaprabhu gave, Nityananda gave much more. So many songs are glorifying. Mahaprabhu's mercy came through him, through Lord Nityananda, through the parampara, through the preachers, and even now it's accessible. We can take it, we can access that mercy without any qualification. Practically, of course, qualification is you have to want it. Tatta loliam himulyam ekalam. The cost is, I want it. Not only want, I have to have greed. Loliam himulyam ekalam. This is the price. So greatest gift of Mahaprabhu was devotional service in the mood of love of God. No, that was not the greatest. Greatest gift is preaching it. Preaching this. He ordered everyone to preach. So they get the highest benefit. One who preaches. He gave us and who will preach? Whoever comes forward, follows everything, and takes up the order to preach, then Mahaprabhu's mercy will come through him. This is his greatest gift. Bhurida Jana, Gopi said, most fortunate is who took it up, who's going to spread the movement. They're fortunate. Prabhupada said many times, he gave an analogy for book distribution. He said that, like a normal farm boy, you're passing on the road, there are farmers. One farm boy means helper of the farmer. Who will know his name? No one knows him. No one knows who is he. Insignificant. But if a war breaks out, he went to fight on the front line. So then everyone is That farm boy, you know that boy? Yeah, he's gone to fight. He's fighting. What's his name? Or where is he from? Oh, immediately he rises in stature because he took that front line. So Prabhupada said, similarly, anyone who preaches, of course, no one wants that glory and fame, but anyone who takes it, comes to the front and starts spreading this movement in the front. The front means directly people are in Maya, and we are coming and showing them directly on the street, on the road, on the house to house. Wake up, Jiva Jago, this is the goal of life. What are we doing? Mahaprabhu has come. This is the movement. Join the movement. Don't waste your life. So people who preach this, they immediately come up, in Krishna's eyes, estimation, they raise, they're greatly elevated. They get Krishna's mercy immediately through Mahaprabhu. So it's a great benediction. Sankirtan movement, it's the benediction of mankind. But at the same time, the honor, privilege to spread the movement through, like if you have a wire, then you connect it to the power source. That power is flowing through there. So we are acting as the mercy representative, and we should remember that. So we do that, then the mercy is flowing through us, and we advance and purify so much. And practically, Srila Prabhupada established ISKCON like that. The whole movement is like that. That we come in the movement, we read some books, we attend classes, start chanting, take prasad, attend festival. Then what we do? Then we preach. Then we tell others. That's what we do. Or what else do we do? Practically, it's a preaching movement. It's formed for preaching and spreading. Tree has to grow. The tree doesn't stop growing. So this tree of devotional service was planted. The seed was in Madhavendra Puri's heart. Ishwar Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then through the parampara, how much they preached. Even practically they didn't preach. They wrote such texts. That's also broadcasting. And the tree is growing, and this is all actually, if you see this, it's not past tense. None of this is in past tense. The tree grew, and the tree is spread, and the Prabhupada, right, the tree is spreading all over the world. So, meaning movement will go on, should go on, and the tree is growing, the branches are getting branches, follows, it's going on and on. And, of course, Mahaprabhu could do it himself. Each of the associates of Mahaprabhu could do it themselves. That's in Vaishnava Vandana song, it says. Each associate was qualified, he could have done it himself. We know that famous conversation with Prabhupada. They asked, after reading that song, Prabhupada, that they could have done it themselves. So why didn't they do it? They left mercy for Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He left mercy for me. And I leave mercy for you. I don't know how it continues, but Prabhupada could have done it, but he left the mercy. 50% of the mission. He could have done 100%, but establish one ashram, spread the books all over the world. He left that for us. So as follows of Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu ordered, spread the movement. Desired tree will grow, should grow. The order was for everyone in the universe, not only planet. Distribute the fruits. And if we follow Krishna, what gifts we will get. Become an instrument of Gaur Nitai. Become fortunate and spread the movement. Hare Krishna. Any question? Yes, comment.
Dog can cross over the ocean by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then we also saw that you pointed out some of the qualities that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that you have to, everyone in the universe, you pointed out that everyone in the universe must take up this order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and spread Krishna consciousness. So I was just thinking the connection, if we just remain as instruments, As in one of the songs, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur points out that, what is that? Tumi to Thakur, tumara kukur. So he says that if you just remain a sincere servant of this parampara, understanding the importance of the Mahaprabhu's mission, and we just take what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given in parampara, and then we just remain instruments, definitely we'll be able to spread this Krishna consciousness. So right as in the very first verse, as Shri Krishna's Kaviraja Goswami points out that by His mercy, which is flowing in parampara, it is possible.
Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Gaur Purnima ki jai. Huh? No. No.